Dennis Charlotte, Linda McGee, Craig Sheriff, Scotty Moyer, Phil Lovett. Can't quite see who that is there. Oh, that's Ryan Hampton, Sophie Lovett and Richard Taylor rounding it up. So 13 bikes ready for a start in Superbike action. 15 lap race it is. Sloan Frost gets a good clean start.
Great start from Tony Rees.
Yeah, that was a great start. Now, Sloan had a problem in the warm-up lap yesterday and had to pull in and get a master cylinder tightened. And he was doing a pit lane start from yesterday and unfortunately pushed it a bit hard and had a crash. But right now, Tony Rees, who has now found some soft compound tyres to run, he was running on harder compound tyres for the rest of the season. In his mid-40s, Tony Rees out the front. 45-year-old Dennis Charlotte there in second place. I think it's Dennis Charlotte. Or is that Hayden Fitzgerald? I can't quite... No, it is Charlotte. Definitely Charlotte, with Jaden Hassan there in third spot. James Smith, who led the last race for a substantial part of it, in fourth spot, and that may be Jaden Hassan there in fifth.
Jaden Hassan.
No, he's third. Sorry, third. Yeah, I said that. Yeah.
So is that?
That's Linda McGee. Linda McGee, the man that's coming on fire. He's had a shit of a weekend in terms of setup and all that, but the M1 Motorsport machine, the Valvoline-sponsored BMW Ace 1000R, is in fifth place. He set the fastest lap in the race, somewhere along the race down at Timaru, and showed you that he's a man to be contended with, but he's coming up there, and as I say that, he's trying to move into fourth place. So Superbike action, mate. Some of the best ever Superbike races I've seen here at Manfield in the last few years. Best in any of the tracks in New Zealand. It is all wide open at the moment. We've seen Jaden Hassan as his first ever win, but right now it is Tony Rees, the quickest man on the track. Dennis Charlotte had a poor bike set up yesterday, said we won't go there with that set up, and then in the first race he said the bike was all good, but he wasn't, and finished I think about 6th or 7th or 8th place, but now up there in second, and Jaden Hassan's hungry for into that second. In fact, Dennis makes a mistake and Jaden Hassan just shoots up beside him and shoots past him, and that's awesome for him. James Smith and the M1 Motorsport look like they're going into fourth place as we go into Higgins, and wow, James Smith is not going to give up this fight.
Outside, though. Nice move around the outside. Can he hold it? No, he can't.
And that in behind them is Scotty Moyer from Taupo, had to come out in the last race, and Sloan Frost, the last race winner, is now in about 6th place. So action aplenty in the Superbikes. Dennis Charlotte, still the quickest man on the track. Wow, action aplenty in Templeton.
Well, joining Spider and I up here is Ian, and Ian, good to have your excellence of the track back again. And what have you been up to following more motorcycle racing since we saw you at Timaru?
Oh, absolutely. Look, I'm just loving the form of these guys at the front of the Superbike pack. Tony Rees, he's on fire. He's a man determined to win himself another New Zealand Superbike race. Jaden Hassan behind him, though. He's not going to give it up. And look at that. Is that the M1 Motorsport bike up into third place?
Yes, it is indeed. What a spectacular showing for him. Fastest man on the track, Scotty Moyer, a 106. The only man in the 106. He's a quarter of a second, 0.4 of a second faster than anyone else. So right now he's on the track in third, fifth, sixth place with in behind him. I think it's Sloan Frost and Hayden, no, sorry, not Hayden Fitzgerald, but Craig Sheriff goes up and past him.
I did go back into the pits and find out that Scott did have a mechanical problem last time. Some real frustration from the team because they knew they had a real opportunity to storm and to be number 3 in New Zealand, but bad luck for them. But they said their problem has been rectified and they've got it back. So look for Scott, and he's already proved it to be the fastest on the racetrack. On the Moto TT track, they supported Suzuki GSXR 1000X. Robbie Bug the Machine, the oldest bike out on the racetrack, and what a great ride.
But look at that, that is Jaden Hassan through into first place. What a fantastic move. He made that move coming into the Pepsi Max sweeper and just managed to hold a nice line, got a very good run down the straight, and he's looking to bust out for the lead.
Well, that's awesome, because the man's never been to Manfield on a Superbike. The first time he's unloaded a Superbike at the Manfield track, I was here on Thursday and took a race win yesterday, and mate, he just rocketed through to the lead. But don't discount Linda McGee. Linda McGee's out there in the 106s, and in fact we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 riders all in the 106s, and what a massive pack out there. Sloan Frost dropping off the pace a bit there in about 10th place, and Scotty Moyer's coming through there, trying on the back of, I think that's James Smith, but out in the front they go into Higgins, and 15 lap race, 12 laps to go, and it is indeed, who's out in the front? It is still Jaden Hassan with the fluorescent machine there. Watch for Linda McGee. He reels in Tony Rees there. He reels in, he's gone through to second place. Yeah, not that was almost with ease, but he's gone through in second. Had a shit of a day here in the Suzuki series and tumbled the bike. There was something like 28 photos taken of him tumbling the bike when he got tapped. Just about wrote the bike off, but look at this, the M1 Motorsport team had a tough weekend where he crashed last weekend in one of the races, and the last race called off of the day, but mate, they'll be ripping themselves a new big smile today with him up into second place, and it's not all done and dusted yet, boys.
No, absolutely not. They made quite a substantial setup change to the bike to get them to where they are in the field, and Lyndon's riding it absolutely fantastic. I'm watching the current points leader, Dennis Charlotte, sitting back in quite a comfortable 5th position, and he's riding quite defensively. He's not in any hurry at all. He's quite happy to be out there circulating amongst the leaders and just picking up points with an eye towards a championship win on a superbike.
Well, certainly when they talk about going down into Higgins there at the moment, it is something special to watch Jaden, and this is fantastic to see. Here's the young gun, folks. A lot of pressure on this young man, 19 years of age, to be a superbike rider in New Zealanders win yesterday. A lot of people are running for record books to say, has there been anyone that's done it younger? Nobody can recall, but that's not to say that we have it officially out of the record books or for that matter. But I tell you what, folks, this is a young man who's heading place, and I believe this year we've really had seen the birth of a lot of new young guns in our sport. Jaden Hassan, just one example. Bailey Perridan and Royd Walker-Holt, probably others that come to mind. So the future looking good for New Zealand superbike road racing when you see this kind of talent in action. But come on, everybody, you've got to get and cheer this young man. This is fantastic. 600 winner from the past, and now here he is, first year of superbikes, back to Manfield. He's loving it and doing so well, and he's out in the lead for a deserved #1. But what about Lyndon McGee? That crash at the Suzuki Series coming out of Toyota was incredible, and to see the way, in fact, he was unable then to make the 10 days later at Wanganui, so he'd really knocked himself and the bike around, and it's neat to see him come back. A nephew of the legendary Kevin McGee, who was a great Aussie racer from years gone by. So it's the heritage of the family, but a great effort, and the M1 Motorsport will be excited about this.
Fastest man of the track, Hayden Fitzgerald, was sitting to 4th as they went up the centre straight on the Ross Graham Motors sponsor machine. He's peeled off Tony Rees. He's hunting down Lyndon McGee, and meanwhile, with Jaden Hassan's getting a little bit of a break at the front of the pack, probably about 30 to 40 metres, but mind you, with about the top 8, in fact, the top 9 riders there, all running in the 6s, it's still anybody's game, and Jaden Hassan, but Lyndon McGee's reeling in. Watch out for that number 6, and that is Hayden Fitzgerald, Tony Rees. The rest of the pack hasn't dropped off at all. Dennis Charlotte's leading in that in 5th place, and as they go across the line, James Smith, Craig Sheriff's has moved up over and above Scotty Moyer on the Promoto TT machine, Promoto Racing Moto TT track days. Well, Craig Sheriff's having some better form, and don't discount Sloane Frost to be the cat among the pigeons. Was fastest in the race yesterday with a pit lane start. He ended up, the pressure was on him, and he ended up binning it. But out in the front, there's just one bike length in it between number 41, the Japanese machine, and the German BMW as they come out of the hairpin. A little bit faster, this Suzuki down the centre straight, but Lyndon McGee goes up on the inside. Lyndon McGee is on the front on the M1 Motorsports BMW S1000R. Oh, mate, I'm just about peeing myself. Here comes Hassan.
Hassan round the outside. Now, who's going to be deeper on the brakes here? And Hassan looks like he's got the run in. McGee has a wee lunge, but knows he can't get it done through there. He's going to go for the good sweepy line onto the straight, see if he can get a run in. Now let's see if Lyndon can make the pass into turn 1.
Oh, mate, this is electric racing, and then we still have Hayden Fitzgerald, the fastest man on the track here in Bedley. Don't discount Tony Rees, the early race leader and race leader yesterday as well. James Smith still up there in the pack, and it looks like Dennis Charlotte still holding in 5th place with James Smith. Then Craig Sheriff's the local man on the Yarna sponsor machine. He's tapping on the back door of James Smith, and Scotty Moyer with Sloane Frost still after. His lunges up on the inside. There goes the Scotty Moyer bike on the outside of Craig Sheriff's, but it doesn't happen. Let's look out at the front as they go into the hairpin. Lyndon McGee back on the inside. What a magic move there. Back on the inside of 41, Jaden Hassan. Now this Suzuki's faster down the straight. Look at it gobble up Lyndon McGee. Oh, mate, and 3rd place there, the Suzuki, followed by the Honda of Tony Rees, the Suzuki of Hayden Fitzgerald. Lyndon McGee goes up on the inside again, mate. It'll be spectacular. Jaden Hassan drops down to 3rd place, almost 4th there. Made a little bit of a mistake. I don't think he was expecting that from Lyndon McGee, but what a great ride from the Motorsport, M1 Motorsport, BMW S1000 Australian entered machine from the Tauranga team. Wow.
Absolutely, and this race is split into 2 packs, the leading pack of 4 and then a chasing pack running hard behind in a group of 5. But Lyndon McGee, he's pulled out just a slight break. Let's see if he can just keep that roll on and see how far he can go with it.
Oh, what a big shame that we haven't got the Kawasaki of Nick Cole, Kawasaki mounted rider. He got a broken jaw in a bar bloody brawl the other day. Wasn't a brawl, he was king hit from behind and he's lying in hospital up in the Waikato. Hats off to you, mate. Chin up, boy, and I hope you're enjoying watching the race as much as you can. Neil Ritchie.
looking at Scotty Moyer's ride, because Scotty, an exceptional rider as we know, but he's actually lost three placings since a lap ago when, as you call it, Spidey, was about to overtake Craig Sheriff, but it didn't pay off, and he's now finding himself further back. So not a good day for Scott Moyer on his home. Taupo Motorsport Park last weekend, he was the hero and the champion of the class and taking a great win, and particularly the TT, but hasn't come to fruition here at Manfield today. It all started with bad luck on yesterday when he missed the qualifying mark, so he's got to start so far back, but he really is finding it a struggle. But look out for Dennis Charlotte. I believe it's calculated, folks, using all the sense in the world, as he should be. He's sitting in 5th place. As Ian called it before, you got a 4 and then a 5, but he's leading that 5 and reasonably so too, to be holding on to this title easily. So great race.
54 points ahead of 3rd place, and that is Dennis Charlotte. Of course, Nick Cole's still sitting there on a 1-3-3 out of this thing, but I saw Jaden Hassan slip down to 3rd place. Didn't necessarily slip down. The fastest man on the track, the only man in the 5s, Hayden Fitzgerald, comes through on there, but that position is reversed. So that's the podium as it's at the moment. Lyndon McGee on the BMW, Jaden Hassan on the Suzuki, followed by Hayden Fitzgerald on the Suzuki, and a Honda of Tony Rees. Don't discount him either. That pack of 5 going round, coming through the hairpin at the moment, mate. That's an awesome race as well. I'd like to shut out the front race and watch this, but I can't. There's 2 electric races. It is Dennis Charlotte, the 77 Messina James Smith, followed by Craig Sheriffs, and then Craig Sheriffs, and that's Sloane Frost and Scotty Moyer. Sorry, just stumbling a bit there, looking at the screen as well.
And I'm just watching the leaders here, and it's Lyndon McGee by maybe 0.3 of a second, followed by Jaden Hassan and Hayden Fitzgerald, with Tony Rees still running really hard behind. Now, this is a fantastic showing from Tony. 45-year-old man, came back to the sport a couple of years ago, decided he really wanted to get back into superbikes. He's made a really big effort and fantastic ride for the Tony Rees motorcycle.
Oh, there we go, change in the front. So tried to squeeze up on the inside, went outside, and they change again. So they've just done a double change, folks. They've done a double change. So it's back to Lyndon McGee. So you had Lyndon, then you had Jaden, who went down on the inside, but he overshot because he went on the inside with the late braking, and now he's been demoted back to 2nd as Lyndon's reclaimed the lead. So we just had the lead changed twice, into the corner and out of the corner. Brilliant to watch as we see the race on there with the Suzuki of Hayden Fitzgerald up against the Honda Insurance Timaru Metal Recyclers CBR 600 RR there of Tony Rees. Then that next group, and still always Dennis Charlotte. I don't think he's there might be a whole good group of 4 behind him. They're battling because he's just holding. He's doing enough. He's off the pace of those others for whatever reason, but I don't think it's a worry to him. More importantly, he's just staying in that position, calculated and cool, and doing a great ride. Watch behind him as we see James Smith, Craig Sheriff, and Sloane Frost, who won the last race, and all he is an 8th position at the moment. Incredible to think your highs and lows of these riders. We had Scott Moyer winning the TT last weekend. He's back in 9th place. That's how good any of these are. On their day, on the race, on the track, for whatever reasons, any one of these 9 can be a champion.
And there's Sloane Frost making the move on Dennis Charlotte, coming through to take 5th place. Now he's going to, and Charlotte comes back at him. Who's going to get the run in? And it's Charlotte. But he now knows that Sloane Frost's on a mission behind him, because Sloane wants through and he wants to catch that leading group of 4. He's got 4 laps to go, and he's actually got enough time to do it.
Jaden Hassan, mate, fastest lap on the track. His lap was in lap 10. We've also got Ryan Hampton way back in 11th spot, just ahead of Sophie Lovett there. Set her fastest lap in lap 10 as well. Well, set his fastest lap in lap 10, so it's not all over. We've got 4 laps to go of this 15-lap race. They disappear into Higgins, and it looks like the M1 Motorsport machine's out in the front. It's certainly a commentator's dream, that number 41 bike in 2nd spot, because it is bright fluorescent orange. He pops the wheel up there. There is a seal change where they go onto the extension of the track, and it's a wise thing to pop your wheel up there, but they compress down there. There's 3 bike lengths between 1st and 3rd, and as I say that, Tony Rees just reels in 3rd place as well, and wow, still the M1 Motorsport machine going across, but it is Jaden Hassan up on the inside. Will he make it stick? Jaden Hassan up on the inside. Yeah, he's certainly made it stick. Coming back from him is Lyndon McGee on the M1 Motorsport. Lyndon McGee gets a drive out of there on the BMW S1000R. Wow, the office wench from the R&R Transport will be watching this. Her signature's under the back. She'll be absolutely having a happy time watching this race on C-Test Live too. Lyndon McGee, mate, he was 8th and 10th and 11th and other racetracks in New Zealand and that, and had a really tough time in the first couple of races, but mate, he's on fire. He's broken away from it as well. Look at that dice. Tony Rees comes back on. Hayden Fitzgerald.
Hayden Fitzgerald, that's a huge ride from Hayden. Running in 3rd place against the field of this class. That's a fantastic effort.
Sloane Frost is the leader of that other pack. He was almost at the back of those 5 riders, but he's reeled back through there. He's now in 5th place on the track. So Sloane Frost on the Fujitsu TSS Red Baron, sponsor Suzuki with GSXR 1000 with Dennis Charlotte behind. Change of position there. I think that's Scotty. No, that's Craig Sheriff's going up, maybe on Scotty Moyer or James Smith. But back to the front here. 3 laps to go, and it is the letter M bike of Linda McGee out in the front. Jaden Hassan, the fastest man still on the track, is Hayden Fitzgerald. Tony Rees is in the picture there. He's getting up and tickling around Hayden Fitzgerald, mate. Still anybody's game. Sloane Frost is trying to make a break away from Dennis Charlotte. Dennis Charlotte's riding for points. He still wants to have a win, but he certainly knows the championship win is what he's got in sight. Craig Sheriffs is going to threaten him as well. And there's James Smith and Scotty Moyer. Scotty Moyer had a win last weekend, and mate, there he is in 9th place. Still not taking anything away. The top 9 riders, the top in fact 11 riders in the 6s with the exception of Hayden Fitzgerald in the 5s, mate. Wow, that's incredible. Absolutely. Phil Lovett's in 10th place, had a muffler blowout in the last race, so he's got all that repaired. I see the bike, Nick Cole's bike in the pits missing a muffler, so they must have swapped over there. Jaden Hassan down into 3rd place now. It is Hayden Fitzgerald who moved in there in 2nd, and he's eyeing up the M1 Motorsport BMW out in the front, but the white flag is ready. The man in the start line has got the white flag ready. We're looking at Linda McGee coming around there, mate. This is electric superbike racing at Manfield here.
This is absolutely fantastic. Now, Jaden Hassan got a good run on there. Let's see if he makes the move up the inside on Hayden Fitzgerald. Hayden defends, and he defends.
Hayden's gone through the first.
Lead.
Sorry. Oh, he's gone through into the lead. Yeah, got a bit greedy then, gone in from 1st now to 3rd, but it is still the M1 Motorsport bike out in the front. Just 1 lap to go. The white flag is out. It is McGee, followed by Hassan, then it is Fitzgerald, and in the back of the pack there, don't discount Tony Rees, and I think that might be, definitely is Sloane Frost there, the leader of that other pack.
And the M1 Motorsport bike has made a bit of a break. He's got maybe 5 or 6 bike lengths on Jaden Hassan.
Jaden Hassan's got a dice with Hayden Fitzgerald. Hayden Fitzgerald tries up the wide line, doesn't quite make it stick. Remember, the Suzuki GSXR 1000's much quicker down the back straight than the BMW, but the BMW holds it. We're going to the we're going into the Pepsi Max corner for the final lap of a 15-lap Superbike race. Oh, look, mate, this is just absolutely fun. Joss Mason, the photographer, she'll be wetting her pants just about. Watches Linda McGee.
A fantastic ride for 1st place. Followed closely home by Jaden Hassan and Hayden Fitzgerald. Tony Rees, a brilliant ride in 4th place. Sloane Frost charging hard at the end, but just ran out of laps to do it, coming in 5th. Dennis Charlotte, very, very sensible ride, coming home in 6th place, collecting points with his eye on the championship.